summer camp and literacy, we wanted to make sure the biggest thing, we have wonderful counselors that, we start at the age of 18 and we kind of, want to make sure that they are implementing a successful summer. And so how we need to make things easy, especially when it comes to literacy. And it has been proven that just because of 30 minutes each day, it can impact the children's reading skills over the summer. So if you look at the easiest thing, it's simple, fun, and a program to get kids reading. So this is just some tools. So if you want to scroll down just a little bit, Allie. So the YUSA has partnered with the American Camp Association, and it's called Explore 30 Camp Reading Program. And hopefully you guys have heard about that. But if not, it's a great reading opportunity to share with your staff. Again, this is stuff you probably all know. This is stuff that you can share with your camp directors to make it easy. So really, we're just talking about how to make sure that reading fits into your schedule. So we need to make sure that we consider a few things, what we consider, what we integrate, and how we can create an environment. So the first thing is that making sure that we are looking at the reading preferences of the campers, that we're making sure that there is a excitement of what they get to choose to read, that we're providing opportunities for them to learn new things that excite them, that kind of engage them. Otherwise, it's just going to kind of be that same old thing where it's just reading time. So making sure we consider the reading preferences, integrating reading with other camp program activities. Again, this is stuff that everyone's already doing. And what a great opportunity to learn about a field trip you're going on, getting your counselors to do some research to how they can incorporate it into their STEM activities, how they can incorporate it into anything that they have planned, their arts and crafts. If you're making, creepy crawler caterpillars, what's a story you could, tie to that and read with them. And then also create a welcoming environment to making sure that it's a designated area and they feel comfortable and that it's quiet and that they have the ability. Obviously, we don't have, comfy chairs for camp or anything, but it could be under a tree, just an opportunity for them to find a place that they can call their own. Another thing that you can do for easy summer reading is offering journaling. Skits, plays, and games that kind of go with each reading. So make it bigger and better than just the book. So it's not just about the reading time. And so that there's an excitement. You can even do, end of the week or end of the camp season, things that tie around the book, but just make it sure it's fun and campy and just making it more fun. So you can offer those opportunities. And then obviously kids love incentives. So at the end of the day, you can give a goal or a week. And in the Google folder I'm going to share, there's a couple different logs you can use. There's also some things for little kids that can kind of give them incentive to read with an older individual and kind of still keep them on board with the incentives and everything. The biggest thing that you have to do with reading is getting everyone excited. And to get everyone excited, you have to be able to provide planning. You're not just going to say, okay, we're going to do 30 minutes of each week or each day of reading. So encourage your camp directors, your camp counselors to sit down and really have a time to set long-term, short-term, what does that summer look like with reading every 30 minutes? We incorporate this training into our pre-orientation, and there is a whole training design where it goes beyond what I'm just talking about today, down to the activities and everything that you guys will have access to as well. So making sure that they kind of take ownership of it. When are they going to plan their reading time? Before and after snack, between programs, just making sure that they are planning it and being purposeful about their time, because then kids will expect schedules and everything, and it should go a bit smoother. I will say that probably the first summer wasn't that getting everyone on board for 30 minutes of reading every day, but now I would say across the board that everyone really gets into it. And I used to run one of the YMCAs in Collinsville, and I loved reading time and just walking around to see all the kids really engaged in their books, the older children sometimes reading with the younger children, staff engaging with them and kind of going with that. So just making sure, you look at scheduling. And at the end of the day, we just have to remember that reading is fun, that it's not a chore. And that's the hardest part about trying to get them to read in summer camp. but that it is fun and that it can give them opportunities to learn about others. It can learn, children can learn more about each other, themselves, and create that kind of network of individuals, whether they like to read about trucks or, whatever their interests are. So going back to that purposeful programming and purposeful planning, making sure that we are able to provide those opportunity. It also gives an opportunity. I've seen so many individual children that have a tendency to be on the shyer side. I personally don't have any problems with that, as you may could tell, but definitely a time and an opportunity to get the kids out of their shells to talk about what they're passionate about. So even, it might just be reading time for 30 minutes, but then have them talk about the book and get everyone involved so that everyone can learn more about it. So there's independent reading, there's partner reading, and then there's staff read alouds. So there's 3 different opportunities. So it doesn't have to be cookie cutter for each camp, for each grade level, for each group. It's just an opportunity to make sure that reading's happening, especially in the summer months, to make sure that they stay or go above their reading levels that they left school with. And as we all know, we had a tough year with COVID. So what a great opportunity that we have in the summertime to implement, these programs and 30 minutes of reading so that we can help them get either, stay on track or back on track or above the track for summer or for school year in the fall, since they will all be going back to school. So really with partner reading, again, it's really exciting for having children reading at the same level. They can read together, they can take turns. It's just a great opportunity. And then the staff read aloud. There's some questions, but I want to kind of go over some of the highlights about read alouds, how to pick a story. Again, I know you all know this, but this is just an opportunity for you guys to have it for your staff and for your program so that it's easy to implement. So I'm just going to go through this quick PowerPoint. So Allie, if you could share that one now, that would be wonderful. So it's just a quick PowerPoint. Again, make it your own, take off the Y logo, why recreate the wheel? My philosophy around training and everything is let's work smarter than harder. So obviously, we want to go over the goals and benefits for children. Obviously, that's literacy and the academic benefits. We want to increase enjoyment of literature and the desire to read, enhance vocabulary, and the ability to expand or express their ideas. It also is an opportunity for stronger relationships with peers and adults, an understanding of self and others, and a stronger commitment to shared values. So obviously, I'm not going to go through all of these. When picking a book or having your counselor pick a book or having your director pick a book, these are just some great key point questions that you can think about when we're looking at when we're creating libraries. There's also a lot of information in this folder on how you create libraries. It's also an opportunity, to get ownership from families and friends. So these are just some of the questions about populations, characters, gender roles and everything to make sure that we are making sure that we are identifying and reaching all audiences. So making sure that they kind of ask themselves when thinking about a book. Next slide. It's to the quote. There we go. So obviously this is one of the, a good quote that was pulled, that just remember that reading aloud comes naturally to very few, but to do it successfully and with ease, you must practice. So obviously, I went to school to be an elementary ed. We had a whole class about learning how to read and what kind of books and all that kind of stuff. So giving your counselors an opportunity to practice with one another, especially if they have the littler ones. So just practice, to making sure they feel comfortable and can engage with the students. Next slide, please. And then why do we read aloud to children? It can have, all children can have the access to the story regardless of reading ability. It's an opportunity for adults to role model and show what good readers, and it creates a shared group experience. And to build upon those group experiences, you can then take and run with it with those other ideas, with the skits or the incentives or anything else they can do and kind of work to as a group or a camp. And so we have a program called After School Kids Lit, and we have 5 strategies that has been focused on. So when reading a story, you introduce the story, you read the story, you talk about the story, you connect with the story, and then you wrap up the story. So again, I know this is not new to any of you all, but this is just, again, something that you can use as a tool and a resource to share with your staff and to your families or anything that they would benefit from this information. And then finally, again, just some quick tips that you can share with your staff. Read stories that they like, just other how they show the book. So this is just good kind of giving them a checklist to kind of look for when they are thinking about reading aloud and kind of providing the experience for children. And again, it's not just for the little kids. We used to read to our older kids during some of the reading times after swim time or anything like that, because it was a time to kind of give them an opportunity just to relax and, you know, regroup for the day and kind of finish off the day strong. So just making sure that there's, again, going back to the practice, looking at the book and making sure at the end, the biggest opportunity we have is with the open-ended questions and engaging all the children. So just making sure that we're following these tips and kind of going from there. Just a few more tips. Again, the biggest thing that I've noticed when I saw camp reading happen, again, we do this, the YMCA has about 8,000 kids per summer this year, obviously, and last year is a little bit different story. But looking at the kids and the minutes that we track, a lot of times looking at the times that they do it, it's after lunch, it's after swimming. It's enough time for having the kids relax. They can, you know, get comfy, making sure that they have the opportunity just to kind of chill out, regroup, and off from there. Making sure that you're looking at the books, clarify words, read only as the children are interested, and then considering stopping at certain parts of the book to make sure that the children are interested. And then finally, again, I'm going to share this is my information, and if you guys have any issues with the link, I can drop it in the chat. You guys can copy it. Everyone should have access to it. I think I shared it correctly. But again, in the book or in the folder, there's a whole training agenda that would last for about an hour on the focus of literacy and summer camps. There's also reading logs. There's parent letters to engage them. There is some other additional information just to share with staff to make sure that they are excited. Again, if they don't have ownership of it, then no one's going to have ownership of it because you can't do the job for them all the time. You got to get them excited. And then there's also a few links for other information. So that's really just the whole point of today, was just to share that it's easy to incorporate it to summer camp, and that once you make it a practice, it's something that will stay with camps and everything for the future, and it just becomes part of the norm, and it's something that the kids do look forward to as after they get used to the schedule and all that kind of stuff. But it is an opportunity for more than just literacy, just more of a great addition to summer camps.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Sarah. We really appreciate that. And I thought I wanted to just take 1 second, and then we still have some folks coming into the waiting room. So we recognized when we started planning this this event today that we are right up against summer. So one, we thank you for your time. If you're here today, you are probably about to start camp, or camp is already starting, or Toby, you mentioned you're on your very last day of school. So we know that this is not, you know, a great time, but we wanted to make sure we got this information in before summer. And so I did want to just make sure that everybody was aware that I am recording the session so that we can send it out to camp providers. And I apologize that I let Sarah get started before I told her that, or before I told everybody that. So if you're uncomfortable being on camera, we plan to just share. Most of it will be the PowerPoint screen and the active speaker. So thank you very much. And then next, we're going to turn it over to Joe, and he is the manager of youth services for the St. Louis Public Library.
Cool. Hi, everybody. It is good to see some familiar faces. So I'm just going to talk briefly about all the ways St. Louis Public Library can support you if you're interested in infusing more literacy into your camps. You can go ahead, Allie. So first thing I want to make you all aware of, you've probably seen some version of this. We do our big summer reading program. We call it Summer Challenge in the city. So this is something that any kid is eligible to do. They don't even need to have a library card. They don't have to live in the city to participate. We want kids to be reading books and having a productive and engaging summer. So this is a sample from our booklet that we're distributing in branches and in outreach to schools, where young people can keep track of the books they read and activities they complete. We don't limit it just to reading books. And they can turn this into us, and then we've got prizes for them at the end of the summer, like tickets to local attractions and a book and other nice things. One other thing I would highlight with this is it can be a good group activity. If you want to pick, use these as the tracker in your camp, we'd love to have you do that. You could, call any of our branches, or I can arrange that for you where you could get a stack of these and have your young people complete them. We also this summer are doing a citywide or community-wide reading goal. So you see that over on the right, where for the city, we're going to keep track of how many books we read as a community throughout the summer and try to fill up the map throughout the summer. So we'll be sending out updates as we make progress to the goal, with hoping to get to 25,000 books. One other thing on summer reading is we have a parallel program for adults. And one thing I think Sarah hit on that's so important is obviously like adults modeling reading and enjoying reading is such a critical thing. So something else, for your staff or caregivers of your campers to be aware of. And you can go ahead, Allie. A few other specific supports for camps that are in St. Louis City that I think you all will find valuable is, first of all, we offer what we call educator accounts. They're special library accounts specifically for educators. So, summer camp employees certainly fall under this. They're not educator cards because there's actually not a physical card attached to it. It's really a streamlined application process. You get a card number and you can just give your name when you come in and they'll look you up. Nice things about this is it's a bulk application process. So if you have 10 camp counselors that you all want to have library accounts, it's one sheet of paper or one email to apply for all of them. So it's really streamlined, and then just the director or the camp administrator signs off on it. And we can get them all accounts. Those accounts have increased item limits. We've increased all of our item limits right now because of COVID, but when those go back down, these accounts get higher item limits and an increased borrowing length. So there are some special privileges associated with that. And employees don't have to be city residents to apply. If your camp or your program is in the city, you qualify. Book deposits. So having books kids want to read is half the battle. And it's hard to keep track of books, and especially with younger kids, they go through books quick. So we can help you with that. If you get in touch with the library and you say, hey, next week we're focusing on space, we've got kids who read between 3rd and 8th grade levels, we'll pull books for you. Get those ready. You can come pick them up. They'll all be there for you, and return them when you're done. I will say with that, advance notice is really nice. It's not something we could typically do same day, although we have some awesome people who will try. But as you know that in advance, you might do it multiple times throughout the summer. We can definitely accommodate you. We also do outreach for camps. So our staff, either virtual or outdoor, we're not doing any in-person indoor outreach right now. Could potentially show up to your camps to do a story time for the younger kids, or book talks, or talk about library resources for our older kids. And those, again, are based on staff capacity. We also run our own camps over the summer. So I'd say if you're interested in that, the earlier you could reach out and get that scheduled, the easier it is for us to make that happen. You can move ahead, Allie. And then a few other quick things. We do a ton of storytime videos online. So if you're looking for an activity to start your day with or work into your camp, we have some super talented staff who do really high quality storytime videos. Those are all on our website. It's linked here in the PowerPoint, which will be shared. We also do storybook walks in the community. This is a picture from our walk in Ruth Porter Mall Park, which is in the West End neighborhood. So if you're in the area or want to do a field trip, kids read a book while having a fun outdoor walk. So I just blew through that, but I was given 5 minutes. I forgot to add in my contact info. so I will put it in the chat. The PowerPoint links to all the resources, but please feel free to reach out to me or give me a call if I can be a support. And that is all. How's that for time?
Good job, Joe. Thank you very much. We really appreciate that. And yes, please do put your information in the chat. And for all of the camp providers that are on today's call, we will be sharing out the full PowerPoint as well as putting it on the Camp Provider Connections site in addition to the video today. So if you're finding that these tips and tricks and resources are really helpful, and maybe you're the director of a program and you want to send it down to all of your camp staff, we welcome you to share this video with them as well. So next up is Nicole Clawson, the Manager of Youth Services with the St. Louis County Library.
Hi, everyone. So like Joe, we have a lot of similar resources with the St. Louis County Library that might be able to help you infuse literacy into your camps. So if you need materials, there's several ways you can get them from us. You can go online, either at the library or from your mobile phone or anywhere that has internet, and you can search the catalog by title, author, or keyword. You can place holds on items. They'll be pulled for you, and then you can just come pick them up. So that's one way to get resources for the kids at your camps. We also have something similar to St. Louis Public Library. We have educator bundles. It's again where you can fill out a form. You can fill out like the number of books you need, topics you're interested in, the ages of the kids being served, and our staff love to pull those books for different groups. When they're ready, you can come pick those up. Just pick the whole bundle up. It'll already be checked out for you. We also have book discussion kits. So if you have an opportunity for a group of kids at your camp to read together, like they want to read the same title, we do have pre-made kits. Usually there's about 15 to 20 books in each kit of the same title. And there's also usually some pre-done questions to help you get going on that as well. So that's all listed on the website. And kind of like Joe, I've got links to more information about everything in the PowerPoint. So that's another way you can look for things. Okay, for online resources, we do have a lot of e-media choices. So ebooks, e-audiobooks, platforms like Overdrive and Hoopla, Tumblebooks. And Tumblebooks it's for all age kids, but it's really great for those younger kids. There's animated talking books for little kids on there. So those are great. We have a database that's called Scholastic Teachables. That's like thousands of educational printable materials for pre-K through 8th grade. It includes like skills, activity sheets, mini books, and lesson plans. We also, like St. Louis Public Library, have videos. So we have virtual story times listed on our website from all of our great staff, our youth staff out at the branches. They record those and we post them on our website, Facebook. We have a YouTube channel for them. So those are always up there for people to use. We also can do visits to camps or outside organizations. It always depends on staff scheduling time. And like Joe said, the earlier you book, the better. But we do have staff that can come out. They can do story times for your kids. And one nice thing about that is if you're wanting your staff to learn how to read out loud, our staff, when they're doing it, kind of model it for your staff. So I think that's kind of helpful. They can also do book talks. They can bring you books. So if you need more books, you can get a book bundle. Just let them know what you need. They could bring it with them to the visit and let you check those out and have them for a while. And then another thing that our staff can do is they can come out and bring summer reading club to your camp. Just like St. Louis Public Library, St. Louis County Library has their own summer reading club. And Allie, if you want to go to the next slide. So this is just an example. Our summer reading club runs June 1st through August 7th. There's a couple of ways the kids, or actually this is for all ages, birth on up. Adults, everybody can do this. You can participate individually and track on those log sheets. Or if your group wants to track, let's say your camp is like taking a specific time and reading together and everybody's doing the same amount of time reading, you can use our group log sheet, which is here. And with this group log sheet, it's just every time the group reads for 20 minutes, you mark the circle. And then when you're finished, because you'll be working with the youth specialist at the library closest to you, when it's finished, they can actually come out and bring the prizes to your kids, and each kid would get a book to take home of their own. And then the teacher or the camp would be entered into a raffle for a chance to win like a book bundle for books for you to keep for your camp. So that's kind of how our summer reading club is working. And I just want to also mention before I go that Joe was talking about St. Louis Public Library. I'm talking about St. Louis County Library, but there are also municipal libraries around in your areas. Libraries like Ferguson Municipal Public Library and University City Public Library and others. And they all have similar resources. They all have summer reading clubs, materials, and can also work with you. So those are other great resources for you to tap as well. And I've got my, that was my information that was up on the screen, and feel free to email me any questions at any time. Thank you.
Awesome. Thank you, Nicole. I'm going to stop sharing because our next presenter is actually going to share their own screen. So next, I would like to welcome Alex Stallings, who's the Community Engagement Manager for 9 PBS. And Alex, I think you should be able to share, but if you can't, let me know.
Thanks so much, Allie. Yes, joining from 9 PBS, and I know some of you are new, but we are here for a shared love of stories and books. And I used, in one chapter of my life, I taught, and I absolutely love that we're talking about literacy today in all of the ways that we are. So for 9 PBS, we've compiled our resources into an online toolkit. And so I'll be talking you through some steps with that and how it applies to your camps. As was mentioned, you are right either in the thick of it or about to start. And so what we want to share today, we want to make it as user-friendly as possible, that you can apply it to your camp counselors, to your students this summer. For our educator and caregiver toolkit, we've compiled resources that will boost literacy in a variety of ways. And what Sarah, Joe, Molly have mentioned, Nicole has mentioned the ways that literacy really permeates life and can be thought about in a lot of different ways. So we're not just talking about, we are talking about a bit of stop, drop, and read, where everything goes silent, everyone has their book. But we're also talking about activities. We're talking about ways that people can engage with kids around literacy in hands-on ways. And so within our toolkit, the resources that we offer, with teaching in room 9, we have a story time possibility for you. So there are lessons that are geared towards pre-K, K, first grade, second grade, around reading, and each lesson has a story time component. So this can be a link that is shared with families for additional work around a particular story. This could be something that is viewed during a mealtime where there's a shared story. And we can also connect with you around questions and ways to interact with your students around the content. And it is not online only, on air only, but it's also online, accessible via our YouTube channel. And the links are available here, and I'll be sharing the overall learning toolkit link with you. In addition to the literacy content, there are pieces around social emotional learning. And so you can connect with students in a few different ways. And this part of the toolkit addresses what content you'd like to incorporate. So if you know you have a STEM camp, we're ready for you. If you know you're doing the arts, we can incorporate there. At a glance, you can find the resources that fit for you. PBS Learning Media. It would be an accessible way for you to connect with our resources by going to PBS Learning Media. One of the perks for camp counselors and facilitators of summer programs is that a file can be created that houses the activities that link to your camp. And this is free, accessible, there's not an end date. You can use it year over year, you can build it for fall activities. And once you find those resources on there, they can be adapted to what you need. It's fully searchable by grade level, state standards on both sides of the river, and learning goals. And that's at a glance. So we actually provide trainings on how to do deep dives on it. So I'm open to that as well. But for today, just want you to know that that is part of the toolkit. PBS Learning Media. For this next piece, I want to mention for you to take out your phones. If you don't have them near you, want to make sure that you take out your phone for our resource here. Write by text. So tips, on the ground tips for literacy and other learning components can come directly to your phones. Not only your phones, but I'm sharing with you for the sake of actually camp counselors and your caregivers. So if you have children within your program, anywhere from birth to age 8, having them sign up for this and text the word care to 274448, and I'll drop that in the chat. We'll give them 2 to 3 tips per week on a very practical, very hands-on thing that they can do in the moment with the children that they're serving. And again, that's prenatal through age 8. And I'll drop the registration link in the chat. There's no limit for the number of registrations. And we can also geolocate. So I see the nearly 30 camp leaders here on the call, directors here that are thinking about how to use this resource. Let me offer you this. It can also communicate to parents. So should the caregivers, camp counselors, parents join this resource, Nine does have the capacity to geolocate by zip code. So if there are tips that you are doing a story time in the park, or you want to meet at the storybook walk, I love the storybook walk, it's near my house, we can send that out and families would know that that resource is there to come. There's a downloadable educator resource guide at the bottom. So you'll see the PDF there. You can click, download it, print it for your camps, or we can have a conversation about if printed resources would be something that would supplement your work. We can see how we can get those to you. Now, I know I'm moving very quickly, but I want to make sure that you didn't miss anything on there. I am going to go back for just one moment to PBS Learning Media, because there's a fave I cannot miss for literacy, for informational text. You do want to search under Molly of Denali. So there are a lot of, you may know Super Y, you may know Word World, but Molly of Denali is one that has informational text. And this would be one to really embed with your campers, that reading is everywhere. Reading is your cereal box. Reading is the recipe that you're making. Reading is all around us. And it's really, really for those that have learning gaps. And we know that it's really around vocabulary acquisition. So exposure to individual words. So a favorite book that I've mentioned recently, The Word Collector, if we can get them to see that there are words everywhere and use all of the words. If you're in a gym, what are the signs on the walls? What are the names of the rooms? How do you spell those? That's one of the secrets to unlocking our literacy for our learners. All right, I'll drop that information in the chat. Thank you very much.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Alex. We really appreciate that. Okay, so next up, we have some exciting stuff. Well, first we have a poll. I'm going to share my screen again.
Before we start the poll,
yeah,
Allie, I wanted to thank our amazing presenters. My name is Lisa Greening, and I'm the project director of Turn the Page STL, which is a new initiative here in St. Louis, the city county-wide literacy initiative that is dedicated to aligning our resources so that all children are reading proficiently by the end of 3rd grade. So this is a kickoff to one of the factors that we know why children are not reading proficiently by the end of 3rd grade is a lot of it is due to the summer slide. meaning that then you're stop learning over the summer and you lose some of what you had learned during the school year. And so we're empowering you as camp directors today to keep that learning going, and to keep the literacy. Alex said it so well, just surround yourselves with words and discussions, and conversation, and books all summer long. So with that, this is, I hope you will follow Turn the Page STL on social media. You'll be hearing ads promoting this literacy initiative over the summer on iHeartRadio and hopefully some television stations. And we're trying to get the community excited about reading this summer. So with that, we do have a poll now that, and I encourage everyone to fill out the poll. And while you're doing this poll, we have a raffle. It is for $1,000 gift card to the I See Me bookstore in University City. So Allie, I'm going to let you take it away.
Oh, thanks. I thought we could give people just a second to answer the poll questions and see a few people have viewed them. And then Lisa, are there other ways that camp providers could directly get involved with the work of Turn the Page? I know I'm kind of putting you on the spot, but are there other ways that if summer program providers wanted to participate in Turn the Page STL, how could they do that more in depth?
Absolutely. So visit our website at turnthepagestl.org. I will put my email in the chat. You can always reach out to me. But while we're looking at this poll and we're looking at barriers here, if any of these barriers come up to you that makes summer reading, you're not able to do it, whether showing in the poll not enough books or a poor selection of books, please email me and I will get you to the right resources. My job is to align so that everybody has the resources that they need, and empowered to feel that they can, that we can get our kids loving books and reading.
Awesome. And Lisa, I hope you don't mind. I added in one other question to the poll, which was, are you as a program currently planning on implementing any literacy instruction or support? And it looks like so far 92% of voters have said yes. So I would love if people are willing to share in the chat what you're doing with your camps. I would love to hear a little bit more, especially maybe from some camps that aren't viewed as traditionally academic. I'd love to hear kind of what you're doing to infuse literacy. I think, you know, I joke that every summer camp can be a literacy camp. It doesn't matter if you're teaching, you know, dance and then you take a water break and you're reading about, you know, a famous dancer and how they got to where they are today. But I would love if some folks would be willing to share in the chat while we're waiting for people to finish the poll. And then we're going to move on to the raffle in just a second. Okay, awesome. Cool, Elsie, that's great. All of our instructors at Art Camp have incorporated reading books and writing in sketchbooks into their curriculum for the summer. That's awesome. Okay, and then I have a lot of things happening on my computer right now. You have 3 minutes left to finish the poll if you have not. I'm going to share a new window. We have an inventor's log, and children have to write or draw their ideas before they build their prototypes. Awesome. Okay.
Everyone,
so you're going to have to take.
Oh, okay. Oh, this is great. Allie.
Go ahead. Go ahead, Lisa. What were you saying?
No, I was about to say, when I said let's do a raffle, only Allie here could figure out how to do this online. I'm thinking, the old raffle, big old
No
spinner.
worries. So
It's
this
so
is kind of a
cute.
raffle spinner. You'll have to take me at my word if you can see my screen, but I've written out a list and numbered your names here, and I have only included camp providers. And so this is intentional. This gift card, this $1,000 gift card to ICME Bookstore provided by Turn the Page STL is intended to go to a camp to buy books for this summer's camp. And so if I call your name and you happen to be somebody who I have not had the pleasure of knowing directly, as Jasmine does a lot of our one-on-one meetings with camp providers, if you are not a camp provider, please let me know and we will spin the raffle again. Okay, so number 9 is the winner, which is Tamara. Tamara, are you a
Tamara
camp
Whitehorn?
provider? Yes.
Tamara Whitehorn. Whoa. Okay.
Tamara, tell us what organization you are with.
I'm with the Community Impact Network.
Okay.
Can you guys, can you hear me?
Yes, yeah, and not a direct camp provider.
Yes.
So I apologize. You want to spin it one more time?
Yeah. Regift.
Sure. Okay, Tamara. I'm sorry this wasn't the lottery. Feels like it though. Okay. I just realized I was spinning again, not on the Zoom. Let me share my screen. As you can tell, this is
You're doing a great job.
not something we do every day. Okay, spin. Number 12, Michelle. Michelle, are you on?
Is that Mitchell? Yes.
Yes, Michelle. Tell us what organization you are with.
Yay, I'm with Girls Incorporated of St. Louis.
And
Great.
you just won a $1,000 raffle, $1,000 gift card to ICME Bookstore.
Awesome. Yay. Thank you.
Love Girls Inc.
Thank you.
Very happy. So Michelle, I will be reaching out with you. If you could put your email in the chat, I'd really
Sure
appreciate
thing.
it.
Awesome. Great.
So,
And I love
Allie,
getting to see the stuff that's going in the chat, Lisa. I don't know if you've had an opportunity to look here, but there's some great stuff happening with camp providers.
and we should share all this stuff also when we send this out. When we send the PowerPoint out, and we have this recorded, so we will be available to all our camp directors and counselors throughout the area. Love all this.
Great. And like we said at the beginning, we just thank you so much for your time. Lisa, I'm going to let you do the final goodbyes, but I just wanted to say from Blueprint for Summer, we're really grateful that you took time today. It's, not only close to a holiday weekend, it's close to the beginning of summer camps. And so we really thank you for taking the time today to be here with us to talk about literacy. So Lisa, any final goodbyes are all on you.
Thank you all for attending, for all of your work. It's going to take all of us here as a community to ensure that all of our children are reading proficiently. We always say it's your turn. Become a leader, be a reader. It's important, and it is for the future of not just each child, but for our community as a whole. So thank you for empowering them, and have a wonderful summer and wonderful camp program. And please feel free to reach out to me at any time. Thank you.
Thank you, Lisa.
Thank you all.